Amsterdam Kitchen. Join us live on Saturday mornings
from 10 till 12
on Broadcast Amsterdam.
Or catch up later.
It's all online.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm such a mess this morning, Gilly. I got the song wrong. I had the mic turned around the wrong way. Am I supposed to be running this gig or what?
I'm afraid so. But you know what I love about you, Kathy, is you're always outwardly looking so calm.
Do I?
Yes.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes, you never give it away.
Inside it's a sea of chaos, screaming, whatever. Amsterdam Kitchen.
But what about today, Kathy?
Oh, today. None other than Joe Montagna.
Yay!
Who is the talent...
Fat Kids Corner.
The face behind Fat Kids Corner. Yeah, we've been playing him on the radio. He does these narrative food stories. They're great, short and sweet, and they have so much character. And Joe's going to come and join us live on the show. Be careful. He's a bit like... you never know what you're going to get
I
with
bought
Joe.
my bullwhip, Kathy. He needs reining in sometimes, doesn't he? But...
He does. He should be a laugh. He's got loads going on, places he's going. He's got big plans for Fat Kids Corner.
Well, we'll ask him more about that later.
Yeah. So he's big into things like kebabs, burgers, sandwiches. It's really nice. It's like he's passionate about
yes, absolutely.
That sort of thing.
Brings his New York personality to Amsterdam, which is kind of appropriate.
Yes.
Some regular features such as the Winkelwagen and In Season and Markets and more.
We've got some developments from a few...
Oh, yes.
Is the seafood festival going to go ahead
what
or
a
not?
saga that has turned out to be.
We will let you know. It was supposed to be this weekend, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
We'll let you know in case you were just wanting to pop out for your
Desperately
prawns.
wanting to get out there to the seafood festival. Well, hold on to your hats.
Yes. Amsterdam Kitchen. This is our review section in Amsterdam Kitchen.
Yeah.
Where have you been, Gilly?
This week, I went to a very nice coffee shop, by which I mean proper, actual coffee, nothing else, called Bokke, which is on the Kerkstraat. And I like this place very much because I have two teenage girls, and quite often I need to go and meet up with them after their shopping sprees on Kalverstraat.
Right.
Which is not a particularly nice area if you want to go for a coffee, because it's very, very touristy and dense. And but what is great about the Bokke place is it's kind of just tucked off. Kerkstraat is one of the quieter streets. It's tucked far enough down so that you are away from the crowds, and then you have this wonderful space, which is a very large place. They do coffee tastings and workshops there. They do trainings. So it's quite, it's very funky, modern, clean space, massive bar area, little shop if you want to buy their coffees to take home, beans and things. And so that's the reason why I like to go there. They take their coffee really seriously, so you will be offered single blend coffee from single estates, or they do. Sorry, what did I just said? Single blend. That's makes no sense. I mean,
oh yes,
single bean coffee, or they do blends, and they also have lots of different ways of serving it. So obviously traditional espresso-based coffees, but they also use the Chemex system, or Chemex. I'm never sure how you pronounce that. Cold filter, all kinds of varieties. So you can really, if you're interested in finding out about coffee profiles from different countries, you really can get to understand what it's all about, what the fuss is
coffee
about.
playground.
Yeah, exactly. Good description.
Oh, yeah. But people who may recognise the Bokke name because they have Bokke branded coffee in some shops, I think Marked does the
yes,
Bokke
that's
coffee?
correct. Yeah, definitely. And they do supply. Yeah, I'm not sure if they are available in Eco Plaza, but certainly they're sort of on that end of the spectrum, if you like, the quality end.
It's a bit more expensive.
Yeah,
sure.
and they also just from the website you could see that they supply lots of other restaurants around Amsterdam and office spaces and things. So they like I say, they take the coffee very seriously. On the food side, we were slightly disappointed. So just FYI, the kitchen closes by 3:00. Now, I've been there before and had some really nice food from the kitchen, like an open sandwich with roasted butternut squash and goat's cheese and little sprinkling of toasted seeds and spices.
A real cafe, not a
yeah,
kind of
you can,
Starbucks
but
style.
you just no. There's a bit more to it, but you obviously have to get there before 3. And if you then are after 3, as we were, then you rely on the countertop cakes, and that was actually a bit of a mixed bag. I'm sorry, Bucker.
I know
It's got to
cakes
be
are so
said.
nice, but people can do them so badly. You know,
I got to say they were. I mean,
how can you get cake wrong? But you can.
Right.
You can.
Yeah. So we had 3. So I believe that to be fair, the chocolate raspberry brownie did go down very well. The lemon poppy seed, it went down in a blink of an eye, but that's because my daughter was eating it.
To be honest, I've made a really bad lemon and poppy seed cake before, so
So maybe it was just an unfortunate batch. And then the one that I had was a carrot cake, which was very nicely spiced, I must say, but solid as a wet
solid as
sponge.
a rock.
It was, it's
solid, like so not heavy. So heavy.
not heavy, but kind of the texture was sort
Supposed
of
to be moist.
Well, it
From
was
the
definitely,
carrots.
but this was too moist, right? It was kind of like a wet sponge.
Yuck! Yuck! Because the colour of a sponge. Now I'm gonna just.
So I'm sorry, I don't want
carrot
to. I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
Like, go for the coffee, go before 3 o'clock and have something out of the kitchen.
Yeah.
Think twice about the cakes.
What? So you're just gonna go for the coffee and you can't eat anything?
No, you can definitely eat, but you've got to go.
A sandwich.
Yeah,
Don't
they,
go for
they
the
do toasties, and as I say, I had this really lovely open sandwich with butternut squash and goat's cheese and things.
Yeah.
So that's all good, but we were, as I say, like 10 past 3, and kitchen was closed. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I get it. Amsterdam kitchen. Right, we're back. We're going to give you another restaurant review. This is called The New King. It's a Chinese restaurant in the Zeedijk. And actually, they're pretty popular. A lot of people know they're good. Maybe more tourists than business people. That's the kind of people I see there. But it's my go-to restaurant for evening Chinese food.
Okay.
It's different from, like, if I want dim sum, then I go to one dim sum on the Overtime or the Sea Palace.
Okay.
But this is like evening Chinese food. I don't know, date night or out with friends or something, or you're going out in town. Right. And when I say Chinese food, for me, I mean the kind of Cantonese, Hong Kong style food. So that's like beef in black bean sauce, beef stuck in Savata sauce on the menu. Not to be confused on the menu with os and haas in Savata pepper sauce, which is just, I think that's just loin of beef or something. It says cut of beef and black pepper sauce.
Okay.
And you get those traditional Chinese food, choice sweet and sour chicken, crispy fried egg noodles, kung pao chicken, char siu pork, roast duck, that sort of thing. A lot of the Chinese restaurants in the Netherlands serve more Indonesian food, actually, like nasi and stuff like that. So you think it's a Chinese, but it's not quite the same. And me having Chinese from Hong Kong background, and living in the UK, that's more the Chinese food that I'm looking out for. So New King, I find it's quite reliable. That if I'm craving black bean sauce or something, or roast duck. But the Sea Palace is also very good, but it's a bit more expensive, a bit further away. It's a different style. It's a bit like a restaurant. The Sea Palace,
very
the
classic
big boat.
Very classic kind of decor, isn't it? The Sea Palace, yeah.
Yeah, but we're talking about the New King on the Zeedijk. So it's obviously in the lively Chinatown part near the red light district.
Ah, okay.
You cannot reserve a table at the New King. You just have to turn up and queue almost. And actually, there's no real space to queue. So you're like, there's just a tiny little staircase and then kind of like a shelf reception area, which is like, and there's very, very little place for you to wait. But that's it. They do generate quite big queues. So you're often having to queue in the street.
Okay.
Which probably helps their PR because everyone's like,
yes,
what's
wow,
that
that place
amazing
is-
restaurant that everyone's queuing for? But there literally is no front space, no bar, nothing, not many seats for you to queue up for. But don't let that put you off because usually when I go, they usually tell you, 15 minutes or something. It's always less than that. So if they say 15 minutes, think more like 7 minutes or something.
Well, that's doable,
fine.
yeah.
It's just not that comfortable because, like I said, there's not that space and everyone's like coming in and out. Or people coming in to ask for a table and they've got to squash past you to talk to anyone and you don't want to give up your place or anything. And everyone's like watching around. But just chill out, everybody. They're very efficient. They get you in. It's fine. You'll get fed. So it's more of an evening feel. It's got like low lighting and dark glossy interiors. There's more kind of business types out there, like I said, and tourists. So they all of somehow know it's good. Locals probably, when they think Chinese food, they would kind of think Nam K. There's a chain restaurant called, when I say chain restaurant, it's basically 3 or 4 outlets, all within the same area, Zadig, with one in the pipe as well. Nam K is famous. It might be their natural choice because there was this crime book called The Oysters of Nam K. And that's all right. I do quite like Nam K. I like to go there more in the daytime. It's kind of got a more traditional feel. I don't think New King does Taos Bazaar, so you can't really get takeaways, but you can take a doggy bag. So I nearly always take a doggy bag home. Yeah. Nearly always. Well, they're big dishes. They're very big dishes. So I love the Ho Fun noodles, which they call rice sticks on a Dutch menu. I love the Ho Fun noodles with black bean sauce and the savatabonen sauce. That's it. I find it hard to find that dish in Amsterdam, so that's where you'd go if you're also craving that. Mm-hmm. But you can also make it at home. You can get the black beans from Chinatown. I learned how to make it at home for then. It's a bit cheaper that way.
Okay. Yeah.
So it closes early at 10:30, which is quite early given that they're really near the red light district. But I reckon that's on purpose.
Yeah.
Because they don't want all that
crowd. They
crowd.
don't want to attract the wrong sort. Yes.
And I figure they're making enough money maybe. But, that was interesting to me that they closed at 10:30 in that central place. They could make so much money if they opened till 1 or something.
Yeah, but as you say, maybe if they were trying to maintain a certain quality.
Yes. And it's not all about money. If the staff don't really like the clientele that you get later, it's not worth it. Yeah. So they have lots of different levels, up and down. I prefer to eat downstairs, kind of snug. You get some good people watching down there. The staff are very quick and slick. The lighting is very flattering if you want to go for a date. That's what I would say. For females out there particularly, and men too, they're quite things. It's open every day, the New King, including Mondays.
No.
Which you don't always get for a restaurant.
That is worth noting.
So it's newking.nl if you want to check it out. Nice and short and sweet. newking.nl. Amsterdam Kitchen. Welcome to the studio, Joe Montagna.
Hey, thank you, Kathy.
And Joe, you're from there. We've invited you on. Well, there's loads of reasons to invite you onto the show, but especially because you do the blog, Fat Kids Corner.
Yes, I enjoy it thoroughly. I'm not fat.
We know. It's all right, we know that.
Despite the story and the name.
We've been telling everyone.
It's all a hype.
Yeah, I think every week we play a little bit of a track from your stories.
Yeah.
Because Fat Kids Corner is a food blog, but it's a bit different because it's more of a narrative style.
Yeah. I mean, I write it how I think I would tell somebody the story if I was just there face to face. That's my impression of a good storyteller.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's there's a certain passion that comes across in the writing that it's like a sales job, essentially.
And a bit of cheekiness, I think.
Yeah. Cheekiness.
Yeah. Well, wait till you got the winkle.
I mean, I like it. It's a bit of a kind of punk-ass style.
Okay. I am a bit of a punk-ass, my mother will tell you.
Bit of a contrast to Gilly style.
Very much so, yes.
But we did the live show I don't know, a couple months
for
ago.
live radio day.
Radio Day. And that was kind of fun.
It was great fun.
Yeah, there was no awkwardness.
No, that was back in February. So you're no stranger to live radio. Not here. You've been on before.
I spent money on a college tuition to not use it to do radio.
Haven't we all?
Yeah.
But tell us about your background. So where do you come from and what brings you to Amsterdam, Joe?
Do we have time for all this story?
Give it short.
Yeah. Come from Long Island, New York. I left when I was 24. I moved to Los Angeles for 15 years.
Yeah.
And from there, I grew up in Los Angeles, in my opinion, became who I am today, was traveling through Europe, met a lovely Dutch girl on a bench in Amsterdam.
Lovely.
Yeah, it was really a special once in a lifetime opportunity cashed in all my chips.
Yeah.
And no pun intended towards potato chips because it's Fat Kids Corner. Yeah.
Yeah.
But and then just came here like 2.5 years ago.
True love brought you to Amsterdam.
I kind of thought you were more. I thought you'd been here a little longer.
She used to be archery. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, with the bows and arrows.
Sure.
Because she really stuck me right in the ass with that arrow. Of love.
So the archery is true.
Yeah.
Is the archery true?
No, absolutely not.
All right.
No, not at all.
Come on, listeners.
Can you see what we're dealing with here?
Jeez, Kathy, hook, line, and sinker, huh? You got that one.
I really thought archery. We're going to have to be careful with you.
Corralling, here we come.
Yes.
So, on the serious side of it, like,
absolutely.
I guess you had to, give up your job and come and work here as well. What are you doing, like, for work in Amsterdam?
Yeah, I started something called the Blue Light District. It's for men.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I dance in like kind of like a glass encased box, try to make a few dollars. There's a tipping jar outside with a monkey.
Wow,
That is not
that's
true.
another
No,
Joe Montana story.
Yeah. Well, I work as a business development, sales, brand ambassador, marketing, advertising, event planner,
All sorts.
guru,
Yeah.
of sorts for a kombucha brand.
Kombucha. Yeah. We need to talk about that.
Kavita Master Brew Kombucha.
Okay.
It's a
the
good one. One you
lekkerste
need to
kombucha.
keep in the fridge. Proper kombucha, not the shelf ones.
Yeah. How does that even survive
Yes.
if it's live cultures?
Yeah.
So that's what I do here to earn some money. And when I want to lose money, I come to Broadcast Amsterdam on an afternoon and do an hour or two of radio.
That's around with us.
Yeah, it's super nice.
But we've really enjoyed playing your Fat Kids Corner blog on the radio, the audio versions that we record, and we also put a post on our website, broadcastamsterdam.nl. But where did that always start from? Where did you get the kind of desire to write all the stories down, Fat Kids Corner?
So, like, I'm living in Los Angeles, let's just say 6 years ago. And there were just a few places that I went to where I really connected well with the people who owned it. And it was more like of a buddy, you know, or a girlfriend of sorts. Not,
Yeah.
So I found a few places that I just felt compelled. I said, I
Story was
wanted
so
to write
good.
something. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
super cool. Like, these people were so nice. And I said, yeah, like, I feel like I can sort of transport things like in creative writing and put that into a quasi-performance.
Okay, so you were already doing this back in LA.
I was writing stories in LA, but I never put anything. Well, I did some voiceover work, but I never put it to voice until I met Kathy at Broadcast Amsterdam, .nl, and then it just really it blossomed from there. You know, I did it a few places in Los Angeles, and then I stopped for a little while to lose some weight, and then when I came here, I fell in love with the Netherlands and really the foods that I came to find here that I'd never tried while living in America.
So, of the Dutch foods, have you got a particular favourite? And does that favourite relate to your favourite Fat Kid Corner episode or not?
No, I would have to say I'm a bit of a particular guy. My girlfriend will tell you I roll out with like a lint roller. All my shirts.
Do you?
Yeah, it's a little
and
bit
that
of...
is true.
That's true.
I'm having to try this. Is it true or false? No, but that's true.
Oh, it's
You do
true.
a lint roller to get rid of all the fluff or bits.
Bits. Bits. It's the bits that I don't want on my shirt.
nobody
It's
wants
100% what it is. It's a black shirt, you know?
But I'm curious. I want to see your house now to see if you're
No. The house is not like
pristine,
sterile.
clean.
No,
Okay.
it's not anything of the sorts. But the T-shirt, the shirt that I wear out has to be sort of like clean looking.
Ooh.
No bits.
No bits.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, so back to the question.
Sorry, yeah. Tangent, yeah.
What was the question?
The question was, what is
Favourite
your
foods,
favourite
yeah.
Dutch food?
Yeah.
And does that correlate with the sort of your favourite Fat Kid Corner episode?
Breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack, or tucha. I have to categorize my favorite foods in that sort.
Yeah,
All right.
tucha being the Dutch word for
Dessert.
dessert.
Yeah.
Tucha.
God, I haven't come across that yet.
Yeah, tucha.
Yeah.
And it's spelled like toe with a T-J-E at the end.
Mm-hmm.
How do you like that? What kind of a language? So sorry. I love my Dutch people. But yeah, breakfast. Yeah, for me, like breakfast, I think something simple that's very Dutch is uitsmijter.
Yeah.
It's basically 2 pieces of white toast with like a fried egg and some cheese on top.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but like, if you had to choose, your last meal, would it be like a burger or a pastrami and rye, or like what would it be?
Wow.
Last meal.
Last meal.
Or last meal in Amsterdam. Let's not make it so morbid.
Yes.
Okay, last meal in Amsterdam. Okay. Last meal in Amsterdam. Yeah, I would say it would be like a borrelplank. A borrelplank is like kaasstengels, bitterballen, frikandel. I would even add on some kaas soufflé. I would add on
Lumpjes.
Oostenwurst, lumpjes. Yeah, all it. Yeah. That would be my last
the
meal.
whole spread.
The whole team. But then there's pancakes and there's a whole lot of other stuff that I would love to add to the mix.
It'd be hard to make a choice.
Yeah, it would be hard.
Which was one of my later questions, which I'll bring it forward.
Sure.
How come you're not actually fat?
Yeah,
After
because-
all this stuff that you're
Yeah, because you can see within the writing, it's like probably like once a month, once every other month that I'll produce a story because I really need to be tied to the place. It's not for me. It's not like a one and done. I could go there, hey, nice, good food and a good sandwich, snapshot photo, write about it because I'm so compelled. I got to go there and fall in love with the place, the people, the dirt on the floor, you know, or like the super clean branded glasses, whatever it might be. Like I need to really connect. So I'll go 2, 3, 4 times until I'm there at that moment where I feel, I've got enough material where I could write it.
Yeah.
And
think
in
that's
true
just-
fat
yeah.
kid sense, I need to eat there, and then like a day or two later, that's when I'll write my story. If it's a week or two after, it's not on my tongue anymore. That sounded terrible, but whatever. It's radio.
Because you give it a blow-by-blow account. It's very much, well, shall we give people a taste?
The live,
God.
pressure-filled story of Fat Kid's Corner coming up
Yeah.
now.
So this is how we record, and tell the story.
So we're going to do a live rendition of Winkel 43. That's on the Noordermarkt 43 in the Jordaan. 24 minutes past 2 p.m. Tuesday afternoon, the Jordaan neighborhood in Amsterdam. How can I say this without sounding like a dick? My mother's, your mother's, even our grandmother's apple pie or apple tart, as the Dutchies like to say, suck in comparison to Winkel 43. Ik wil graag een stukje appeltaart met slagroom, alstublieft, is all you really need to know when you're placing your order inside this quaint cafe that's nestled close to the Prinsengracht, or Prince's Canal, and the Noordermarkt. Yeah, I know I'm bringing it with the Dutch, but it's because Kathy's putting pressure on me and she's got a gun to my head. It's owned by 3 childhood friends since 1983, so saying Winkel to somebody in Amsterdam is like saying grape drink in the hood. For nearly 35 years, Winkel has been serving up traditional Dutch fare to the residents of Amsterdam, as well as tens of thousands of tourists each year. Delicious treats like toasties, Dutch sausages, filet américain, club sandwiches, even a young or mature Dutch cheese selection is offered daily, but you must be 21 years to enter. Equipped with a full bar, have a cocktail, a beer, some wine, or a bite to eat, Winkel has got something for everybody. Summertime, winter, spring, or fall, morning, day, or night, I'm a fat kid and I'm here to eat apple pie. Although a gorgeous day in the city, today I'm sitting at the bar because I really do want to see what's happening inside this apple pie mecca. 8 slices per pie, 80 to 100 apple pies baked daily. A dumbwaiter is busy at work providing elevator service to fresh pies like the bellhop at the Waldorf Astoria. I'm ghetto, I've never stayed there, so just take it for what it's worth. Even seeing whipped cream on tap will make you drool. Have you ever seen it on tap? Each horizontal pyramid of love is garnished with a healthy dose, while these apple pie drug dealers, a.k.a. waiters and waitresses, deliver to eager patrons sipping coffee and tea on the veranda. 2:41 p.m. now, I wait patiently. Well, sort of. 2:47, I'm elated as my slice of life arrives. Food trident in hand, I position my spear and make sure an even amount of whipped cream equals an even amount of apple pie. I'm a Libra, and that's why I'm doing it. But that first bite, its warm spices and flavors are seductive, leaving you feeling a bit naughty each bite. I look at my apple pie cohorts knowing they understand the euphoria I'm experiencing right now. An orgy of butter, cinnamon, perfectly baked apples, possibly Braeburn, brown sugar, raisins, egg, a little lemon, a little orange, and a hint of apple brandy, all complemented by this incredibly jagged, buttery crust, creates a smile stretching from ear to ear. It's 2:50 p.m., nearing the end. That Donna Summer song, Last Dance, is playing in my head. Could I eat another? Hell yes. Will I? Not this time. A final bite is perfect, leaving me feeling content. I push the plate away in a celebratory manner as one of the apple pie drug dealers walk over and ask, Heeft het gesmaakt? Handing me the bill. I reply with extreme jubilation, Hartstikke lekker, as I pay the tab and walk out the door. Winkel 43 is really one of a kind. The neighborhood, the people, the decor, the menu, the apple pie will give you a perfect Dutch experience if you're a tourist or you're a local. Next time you're in the Jordaan, stop in, say hello, say what's up to Axel. You'll thank me later.
Yes.
Love it. There's so
Well
much to
done, Jo.
unpack there.
Yeah.
Amsterdam Kitchen. For those of you who just joined, anyway, we just had a live reading of Winkel 43, Joe's narrative storytelling trip to the famous apple pie shop in the Jordan. But there's some things to unpack here, actually. I don't know. I like it. Do you know one of my favourite things? It was the trident.
The food trident.
Food trident fork.
Yeah.
I was thinking, what is that?
Yeah.
What is a food trident? And I'm like, a fork, obviously.
Yeah, but honestly, you'll have to go to Winkel 43 and prove me wrong.
Yeah.
That's a shout out in business for them, hopefully. But I think that the fork that they give you is a small fork with only 3 prongs.
It is. Yeah,
Okay.
I can vouch for that.
Trident.
Having been there. a few
Yes,
times
that's what came to mind when
Yeah,
I
I
thought.
know.
okay,
No, I
trident.
like it. It's a nice turn of phrase.
A horizontal pyramid of love.
Yeah. It's a pyramid. It's a piece of pie, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
your imagination
Yes. Yeah.
and the way you do it. Drug dealers. You call them
The
drug-
waitresses. That does make complete sense because
Yeah.
I mean, this cake is like crack, isn't it?
It really is like
it's
crack.
So
yeah.
good.
That's why they're always hiring new waitresses.
And the way you, and the dumb waiter comparing it to the bellhop at the Waldorf Astoria. That's so
No.
New York. but that's so nice. Like, I love it. I can
Yeah,
really
but I
picture
like you
it.
picked up because I know exactly. I've been in there. I know exactly what you're talking about. It makes sense, but I don't know that I would have picked up on it myself if I was going to write a report. So I love the fact that you you did and you did it so well.
Do you know how I write these things? Like I like to write in
Yeah.
absolute complete silence. Like I don't mean like sitting in a closet, but I'm saying like at my place,
Yes.
No music, no
TV, no music,
Mm-hmm.
nobody there. I need like 5, 6, 7 hours if I'm going to bust one out.
Yes.
Complete
Quite a
quiet.
long time.
So then this way I could actually say it out loud as I'm writing it.
Yes.
And for me, it is a quasi performance. It's never,
Yeah, of course,
it's
yeah.
never really been written to be like on stage
Read.
performed.
Yeah.
But that's.
So you say it out loud often, actually, because I've written a novel, unpublished, and a screenplay. But often people do say, if you want to get your writing better, say it out loud
okay.
to see if it feels natural. So a lot of writers won't, and they'll just write it on the page and it's in their head. But yeah, by saying the words out loud, you just get a feel for if it sounds natural. And this does sound so natural, the way it runs, and that's why I think it's born for audio and for radio as well.
That's cool. Yeah.
You know, the blog post is good. But you wanna hear it from the horse's mouth. I knew that was coming.
Of course you knew it was coming. Oh, I could do, yeah. If this was only video, I could do something that my cheeks flap like a horse's cheeks.
I wouldn't know how you would do that.
Okay.
But you eat all this food, and you, like you say, you don't just eat it once. You go back quite a lot to get familiar with the stuff.
Absolutely.
So, what's your routine like for you can't just eat all of that and then expect to be the in great physique, which you are. What do you do? Like,
Sorry, I'm laughing because you said you're very generous. Great physique.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, genetics, I'd have to say. My parents aren't overweight people.
yeah.
Although they don't do anything. They don't get off the couch anymore.
Wow, genetics. That's great.
Yeah, I think genetics.
Italian heritage.
A little bit.
Yeah.
My girlfriend will tell you 10%. Yeah. But nonetheless, though, yeah, for me, you're always on the bicycle here, cycling around the city, and I do have a couple of gym memberships, and I try to eat smaller portions when I'm not pigging out on Fat Kids Corner.
You put it all into Fat Kids Corner, and then the rest of the time
when it's not
like
research time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like a monk.
Yeah. And then sorry.
Oh yeah, and one of the places, I think it was the pancake place, you actually cycled all the way there, and it's out of Amsterdam, and that was quite a ride.
70 kilometers in total, 70 or 75.
Yeah.
Depends if you get lost. But
Yeah.
Was it worth it? Well, we know it was.
Yeah, I'd go back tomorrow if I could.
Pancakes
Yeah.
always worth it.
I actually was there 2 Mondays ago. I cycled out to Soesterberg.
Okay.
Soesterberg is outside of Utrecht, and it's 100 kilometers there and back.
So there's your answer, Kathy.
Yes.
Definitely.
I agree with you, Joe, because I always think you can eat a little bit more if you go out to eat in Amsterdam because you've got the cycle ride back,
Yes.
depending on how far it is, you know.
Especially if
and-
it's cold, right?
Yes. Because I went to Eiburg for a barbecue and I absolutely stuffed my face. But then I was like, it was a 40-minute cycle ride back. So I was like, no guilt.
No.
And I felt like, fine.
Brilliant.
Yes.
Yeah.
Factor that in maybe, you know. But let's see. Oh, so you're very enthusiastic with your blog. Obviously, you only include the ones which you really love and you've got that bond
absolutely.
with. But I guess you must have had some bad experiences with food in the Netherlands or Amsterdam.
Bad experiences. Yeah, I personally think that the service industry here is terrible.
Yeah, yeah. It's the people. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah,
I
I'm just not
love
sure how
living
much
in
to
Amsterdam. I love Dutch people, but the service industry is terrible in the standards of somebody that isn't high society, but knows how to work to earn that tip.
Do you think, because this has been going on for ages and everyone kind of knows it, what do you think is the solution? I think I do see some changes with the internationalisation and people have a bit higher expectations and I think people are beginning to take a bit more pride perhaps in doing that. But it's still a slow progress to get better service in place. And it's not, we don't expect to be treated like royalty. We just expect a little bit of friendliness, not the curtness or the abruptness. You know, it's quite severe sometimes. Do you think the answer is that we have more like tipping system or something? Because here I think if people got tipped more, then they would make more of an effort.
More motivated.
I don't think so. I think all you need to do is just to retrain the staff.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, you don't have to kiss anyone's ass, but just easily say, "Hey, sir, how you doing today? What can I get you?"
It's completely getting the staff to understand why they're there. You know, they're not just there to have a job. Yeah. They are there to provide a service and to make that smooth and enjoyable. And I think quite often, I mean, certainly in the UK, you know, I worked as a waitress. I'm not sure I was given a whole lot of training behind that. You just, you're sort of as a physical thing that just shifts plates from A to B.
Yes.
And I think that's probably to a large extent what goes on here. And actually, what people need is they just need someone to say to them, "You're not just a robot. You need
be a real human being."
Yeah.
If anybody knows restaurants that are looking to change their I would say
culture?
The attitude of the please let me know. I'm the guy that can train the people in the restaurants.
Yes, Joe.
Yeah,
business opportunity.
Yeah. You could set up your own consultancy.
I have a consultancy.
Yeah.
Montagna Consulting.
Oh, good.
Find me online.
Do you eat at home? Like, what do you cook at home? Because Janina, you live with Janina. Do you share it? Or are you a whiz in the kitchen too?
A whiz in the kitchen? Yeah. I think just because I love food, I love to cook.
Yeah.
Because I could eat what I made. Yeah. And typically what I make doesn't suck.
I have that.
Yeah, in so many easy ways. Yeah, so I think when I do cook, it's more of the Italian cuisine.
Spaghetti and meatballs. Sorry, is that a cliche?
No. I mean, I don't roll out my own pasta. I'm not that Italian.
No. Fair enough. Yeah.
I'm also Jewish, so I go to the store and buy it. Uh-huh. Yeah. No, I really am. My mother's Jewish. And then but the meatballs for sure are homemade. Yes. Absolutely, best meatballs in town.
Oh, okay.
But also pasta dishes and eggplant rollatini, eggplant parmesan.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Nice.
I really do because typically it's a big tray of food.
Yeah.
And I could eat as much as I want.
I've got visions of you sitting down with the whole tray.
The whole tray on your lap.
Hello, Kathy. Have you seen the photo of Fat Kids Corner?
Oh, yeah.
There's
Joe's
stickers.
got stickers made.
There's stickers being put up all over town on light bulbs, but it wasn't me that did it.
It's a classic. So, profile photo of Joe for Fat Kids Corner. It's him eating a plate of spaghetti. How old were you in that photo?
I was probably 5 years old in that photo, and it's actually a pan of spaghetti. It's not even a plate. It's a pan that my mother took off the stove and just threw it in front of me and gave me a wooden fork and a slap in the back of the head and said, "Here, eat."
It's like your vacuum cleaner. You are in the sticker. You're like sucking it up like a vacuum cleaner.
It's
I love the 70s vibe of the picture, the kind of sepia colours, and it makes me feel a bit nostalgic.
Yeah, girl, I was born in 1979. Okay.
So Joe's got these new stickers printed. I guess you got to look out for them. Limited edition, special. Like the broadcast episode.
Will they become like the Banksies? Will people be kind of chipping them off the walls
oh my gosh.
to take their own sticker home?
If somebody wants to chip this off the light pole that it'll be on somewhere in Amsterdam, reminder, it wasn't me that did it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. It could be
No,
fun.
I got the stickers made just because, I have a lot of stickers on my laptop. I'm one of those people. And
Yeah, but you've got plans, right? I mean, you've been doing this, the blog, Fat Kids Corner blog, but now you're moving not just from audio but into visual, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna. Strangely enough, the lady to my left, Kathy, she's gonna be filming me at the Albert Kalp Market with a previously written segment of Fat Kids Corner, Benny's Chicken.
Yeah,
yes.
I think we might have played it last
that.
week, the audio.
Yeah.
But we're going to make a video version, live action in the Albert Kite Market. God knows what's going to happen with things. But
no, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to do it. It's something that I really envision. And
we've got plans for Joe to be the next Anthony Bourdain.
Absolutely. That's exactly when I first met Joe. That was my first thought.
Truly, that's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
that's great. That's a compliment.
Yes.
Not many people give me compliments. Well, yeah.
That's why you come in here.
That's why I come in here. My head is like the size of a watermelon right now.
Yeah. But no, looking forward to that. So I'll be working on that with Joe next week.
Yeah.
Look out, new website maybe coming. And then we'll see where the videos go because people need to see you, Joe, and to see your warmth. I think that's it. That really comes over. We're really enjoying sharing your stories and we want more of them. Where are you going to eat next? Like, have you got something near
I
for us?
think for the writing aspect of it, like again, I'm a Libra, so things for sure have to be sort of in balance. I'm the most balanced Libra that you'll ever meet.
Oh, yeah. That's scales, isn't
Yes.
it?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Okay.
Chew on that for a while. Yeah, so for me, like it's like savory, sweet, savory, sweet.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now it's gonna have to be something sweet.
Right.
And I've kind of had like a bit of a hunch. I'm leaning towards the Moorcope. The Moorcope is like the redheaded stepchild of the Bossabola.
Right. Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
In a funny way. Or there's always a really fabulous cookie place in the Nakenstraatjes.
Cookies, yeah. You haven't
Yeah.
done cookies
Van
so
Stap.
much because they've been cream-based a lot, and the apple pie.
Donuts.
Coming up to Peppermint.
Donuts. There's more donuts because we've got to find a replacement for the PJs.
PJ's Donut, and shout out to the Harewood Donut. I hadn't written a story about them, but they had a magnificent donut.
Yeah.
Magnificent, like in the sense of, do you remember you go to a Chinese restaurant, Chinese buffet place, and they serve those little sugared donuts?
Yes.
Do you know what I'm talking
the
about? It's
small
like the
ones.
granulated donuts on like the small regular donut. Well, this place had their donut like that as well, but inside was a lavender rosewater buttercream.
Very special.
Oh.
Very special.
Okay.
And then they closed their doors.
Oh, that's the story. And then also getting on when we get to Christmas, New Year, you'll have to do the Ollie Bollen.
Oh, the Olabola,
Yeah.
yeah. Translated to oil ball.
Yeah.
I can't.
Or I
wait.
say oily balls.
My ingestion.
it's plural, oily balls.
Yeah, yeah.
I've yet to try
Oil
one
balls.
of these.
Yeah.
Gilly Carney's
I'm
never
not
had
sure
an
they
Ollie
sound
Bollen.
that appealing.
I've
It's,
made them before. You can get packets and make them in your house, but
really?
the oil,
the
it's like
oil,
the smell
yeah.
of the oil
Yeah.
frying.
Yeah.
Do you know what a zeppoli is?
No.
A zeppoli is an Italian olabola.
Okay.
But they don't form it into a ball
No, I
like
was
the
gonna
Dutch
say, more
do.
like a-
They just throw in like a bunch of whatever it's made from. They just throw it into like the hot oil, and it conforms into some awkward shape. It looks like intestines, and then they hit it with some powdered sugar.
I mean, you can't really go wrong, can you? It's something deep fried and powdered sugar.
Flour deep fried
come
with
on.
sugar.
But then
Yeah,
you
it
can
doesn't.
feel quite.
But, yeah.
It's impossible. Do you know? It's impossible to have one Ollie Bollen because you always want one more. And you know they're quite substantial. They're quite big round balls. But I was surprised at that
Sorry, yes.
because I thought one would be enough. But they're very
No,
more.
they
It's
just say
like
no.
it's dangerous. So you go prepared to have one more. We shall look out for your next blog and what you're going to do. Something sweet, everybody, if you're listening. Something sweet is coming up from Joe Montagna of John.
John.
You're
That's-
not a John.
That's his
You
brother.
are- yeah.
Twin brother.
John is the guy from the south of America, right? He's the redneck guy. He's standing outside. He's going to do the
No,
next
don't
interview.
go there. Don't go there. Joe's come equipped with lots
John,
of
you wanna
it.
come in
he
studio?
wants to do his impressions.
I'm here now. John is in the studio.
We've got to control Joe. He's got a whole...
Great.
He's got a whole suitcase
John,
of
wait outside.
impressions ready for you, Amsterdam. We'll see. Maybe later in the show we'll bring those out for you.
Okay.
But we must tell everyone where to go. Facebook.com, Fat Kids Corner.
Fat Kids Corner, Facebook.com, yeah.
And Instagram, The
Fat
Selfster.
Kids Corner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Fat Kids Corner.
Yeah, but the reading is on Facebook. Go to the reading.
Right,
The reading's
yes.
where it's at.
That's it. Amsterdam Kitchen. And this is kind of our coming to the end of season.
Yeah, it's a sort of last chance hurrah for tomatoes,
Oh.
which are my number one all-time favourite food ever.
Tomatoes.
Absolutely. If I'd never ate a tomato again in my life, I'd be very sad.
Gosh.
Very sad.
It's so interesting because some people really, really hate tomatoes.
Yeah,
like
including my
sister,
daughter,
yeah.
which so I find,
Is it a fresh tomato? Is it a
or
roasted?
any form?
It doesn't matter.
Any form.
Tomato ketchup.
Just the one form I can't abide is straight out of the fridge.
Yeah, cold, yeah.
Cold.
So no, okay.
That's just,
That's the no-no.
Tomato ketchup?
yeah, it's all right. I'm not like I don't need tomato ketchup with everything, but I will have it.
Do you use tomato ketchup with French fries?
I have both. I do the mayo and ketchup. I'm just.
It's like Thousand Island. It's like
I'm
Thousand
still
Island
on the
dressing.
fence. I can't decide which one I like most.
Variety is the spice of life.
That's it. Anyway, so tomatoes, they're my favourite thing, and they are...
You should make it... It just sounds like it's a song, doesn't it? These are one of my favourite
Yes.
things.
Yeah.
Tomatoes.
It's technically coming to the end of the season if you've been trying to grow them yourself, although, of course, these days they are pretty much available all year round. I'll come on to that in a little...
It's deceptive, isn't it?
In a
I
moment.
want to learn all about that.
Yeah.
Liars.
So, but we have the Aztecs to thank for tomatoes. That's where they originate from, South America, where they were originally called tomatal, which translates literally as plump fruit. It's thought that actually that was a generic term for all kinds of things, including the aubergine or eggplant, as Joe would know it. But they actually all belong in the same family. So anyway, the Spanish came along and decided that they liked this particular plump fruit and brought it to Europe. It took a while to get established here, but obviously, that's going back a few hundred
It worked
years.
out pretty well for the Italians, I think.
And generally for tomatoes,
Yes.
right? Because
Yeah.
they are now ubiquitous. There is no cuisine that doesn't feature
Absolutely.
a tomato.
So when you say tomatoes, you do think Italian food rather than South American food, which is where the Aztecs
True.
came from.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I would say, the Italians won out in that deal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where would they be?
Hey, Giancarlo, we need some more tomatoes.
Can you imagine a world without tomatoes? That's what
A
that's why I
tomato-free
get-
world.
Imagine there's no tomatoes.
I think Heinz would be like, shit, what are we going to do now?
Yeah, they would be in
They've
big
got the
trouble. That's
mayo.
true. That's true.
Heinz mayo? Sorry.
Yeah, they do.
Let's go back to
Oh,
tomatoes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, like I said, it is technically the end of the season for tomatoes, but the Dutch, with their ingenuity and amazing horticultural skills, have found ways to grow tomatoes all year round. And I have mixed feelings about that, but looking into it this week, there are some pretty awesome statistics about Dutch and tomatoes. So take a guess. In 2016, did the Netherlands grow 100 million kilograms, 400 million kilograms, or 900 million kilograms of tomatoes?
What year was it?
2016.
Not bad. I'll go for the 900 million.
You'd be bang on.
900
million kilos of tomatoes
900
from
million
the
kilos
Netherlands.
From the Netherlands.
in just this tiny piece of land.
Yeah,
900 million.
Yeah.
it's crazy, right? So how do they do it? Well,
A magic box or something?
they have. You'll
No.
be familiar. There's a greenhouse area the size of Manhattan
Okay.
at West, and whether that's all dedicated to tomatoes or just the general greenhousing, I'm not sure. But anyway, it's a huge area, and they use. Sorry, what I was going to say is perhaps even more impressive than just the vast area is the way that they've managed to grow these things in a much more sustainable way than they were a few years ago.
Good.
So they use geothermal, which is, when they stick rods right down in the ground and they use that heat from the earth to help mature these
I didn't
plants.
know that. That's what
Yeah,
they do.
so that
Hot
uses
rods.
Yeah, kind of. So it's that uses 60% less energy than the traditional growing ways. They also reduce water consumption by 3/4, just by the factor of being under glass, I think.
Yeah.
There's even tomato producers out there who then, when they cut down their stalks, use the stalks to make packaging. So
Wow.
come on,
That's good.
fantastic, isn't it? That's
Yeah, yeah.
a real 360-degree
Yes.
production.
Yes.
But why eat tomatoes, Kathy and Joe?
Apart from the taste, what? I suppose they must have some nutrients in them.
Well, yeah. The magic word is lycopene.
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 Lycopene. Lycopene?
Lycopene? No.
Lycopene.
Lycopene. Lycopene.
Like I'm peeing.
Oh, yeah. Lycopene.
Yeah.
Lycopene.
And that's the one that protects you against heart diseases, various cancers, including prostate, lung, stomach, and breast cancer. It helps lower cholesterol, or at least the bad cholesterol. So, tomatoes are just brilliant. Those are the reasons to eat them. And finally, I would just add that if you want to store your tomatoes, please, please, please don't put them in the fridge. Don't.
No cold tomatoes.
Except for gazpacho, I cannot justify a cold tomato.
Oh, it's a personal preference.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but...
I just came around...
900 million
kilograms
of tomatoes a year. And not one time has there been a tomato fight party?
No, I think there has, actually. I think there has in Dam Square.
Oh,
there
really?
was one. But I don't think they do it every year, but there was. But, I mean, there's another country, isn't it? Like Spain or Italy. They do that. But
wild for it. Yeah. So please don't store them in the fridge. If they, if they are a little firm when you first buy them, a paper bag, newspaper on the countertop. Just leave them there for a couple of days.
Yes.
Perfect.
Because I think I only came around to that a few years ago, really, not in the fridge. But now I'm definitely into it, and it's nice then because they're out. They look nice. When they're out, colourful.
Oh, yeah.
But now my husband is a monster because I'm getting this particular brand called Juanita, which are small ones, but they're kind of flavourful, from the Albert Heijn. And I have to buy 2 packets now at once because he'll eat a packet in one go.
On his own.
And it'll just, and it's just so frustrating. I thought I bought those tomatoes, I might have one, and they're all gone.
Juanita.
Yeah, Juanita, they're called.
It's a good Dutch name.
So put them out, and you'll eat more of them.
Like I say, and just you'd buy them by... I would personally right now just buy them by the bucket load and start cooking and freezing stuff because I think you can't really beat them this time of year. Yeah,
they've got some nice heritage tomatoes that they sell in the Markt and in the Eco Plaza with you've got yellows and blacks and they're quite nice.
Yeah, very pretty.
Amsterdam kitchen. We were talking tomatoes.
We were.
And blah, blah, blah.
I wanted to ask you if you've actually ever tried growing your own, Kathy. Have you? I have.
As a matter of fact, yes, I have. You have too. Here in the Netherlands or somewhere else?
Not here, and actually not for a few years because I don't know, I just... anyway, so I've tried back in the UK and it was over about 2 or 3 years. And every year, I did get tomatoes.
Yes.
But it was always a bit of a slog. The summer was never the summer you wanted it to be.
Yes, it's true. You've got to start them early, I think, fairly early. This is probably a debate. So are you starting your tomatoes yet or not? I don't know. I think you've got to give them a long time to set in. I have done. I didn't buy tomato seeds because I didn't think... It was just not one of my go-to things that I would... It was too ambitious for me. But I was going to a seed swapping event because I do like my gardening.
Yeah.
And they had... some free ones. So I thought, well, if they're free, I'll try them. And they were a kind of Russian black tomato style, I think. So it was an unusual one. I'm really into the seed swapping. So these are like without any genetic things. So they grow true to their seed. It's like
heirloom
a thing.
Heirloom tomato is fantastic.
So I gave those. So you give them a little packet of seeds. I had some, and I started growing them. And it was in our house, fairly new. It was one of the first things I started growing. And I had all these seeds, so I started some seedlings, but I didn't have enough sunny spots for myself to get them to full size. So I only had small spaces for them. So once they get a certain size, past seedling stage, I've run out of space. So you know what I did, and this will give you some idea for context, is that these were kind of mid-sized seedlings, I suppose, higher than about the size of my hand, as big as the height. I sold a whole load of seedlings on King's Day. King's Day, Queen's Day.
Very enterprising.
So that's, the end of April. I already had them at hand size. So I just put the stall outside the front of my house, and my neighbours were all like...
The tomatoes were hand size.
I haven't got your...
No,
sorry,
the plants.
The tomatoes were hand size.
No, the seedlings like this as they were growing. So hand size, so the leaves were coming up about that high.
Okay.
So what's that? 15 centimeters.
Yeah.
10.
So they're still pretty tender at that stage, right?
Yeah. So I had those all lined up and selling seedlings. So my neighbours were buying them, and my neighbour has a much sunnier garden than me, so he took a few, and that was it. And I had a few left over.
And did he give you any tomatoes?
He got some really good ones.
Did he? Great.
I think. You're not going to have them in abundance, really, in any Amsterdam garden.
But it's satisfying just to.
My
know that
father used to grow. Well, he still does, but he had tomatoes in a tomato garden, and some of the tomatoes that he grew were honestly the size of my both hands together.
Yeah, wow.
I'm not
Those are big.
exaggerating.
That's what you call
Beefsteak.
beef
Big tomato.
tomatoes.
Yeah.
Beef tomatoes. And then we found out years later that he was using the water from the air conditioner to to give water to the tomatoes.
That's the trick, huh?
Is that good?
Okay, I don't
Yeah.
know.
I don't
I don't
know.
know. Look
I
at me,
don't think
Kathy.
it's
Is it
good.
good or not? I don't know.
It's brought up on.
Yeah.
I think
on those very
risky,
special.
I would say. But
yeah.
Every
It
once in a while, I
obviously
have
didn't
to
do you any harm.
I have to tuck my tail back in my pants because I got a third. I have a tail because my father with the air conditioner water.
Yeah, where do you go? We never know where you're going to go next in this show. But it's a schlep, like, because you've got to tie them up and make sure they're supported. So
Yeah,
there's a lot of
they-
that to
yeah.
do. You've got to pick off some of the bottom leaves and things like that and do that. Keep an eye on those extra things growing off. We have a little Juliet-type balcony at the front, and that's where they did the best.
Yeah,
and
they
then-
need a lot of sun, especially
know,
at the end.
And it gets obsessive, because I ended up like putting bits of mirror behind, trying to get light reflected to
Oh,
get,
wow.
maximum light onto these tomatoes off the houses. And, in an Amsterdam garden, when you're stuck in one of those big square courtyards where you're all backing onto each
Yeah.
other, there's actually not much sunshine to go
No,
around. So
no.
I tried some scientific engineering and whatever. I know civil engineering projects to get light reflected, but anyway, I got some, not
got some,
a huge
yeah,
amount, and
yeah.
it's more of the smell. I love the smell of the vines.
Well, that's
Yeah.
Well, that is a perfect feed. Thank you. That brings me nicely to the recipe I want to talk about.
Yeah.
Nice.
Because it is that aroma that's it's just quite unique, I think, to tomatoes. And this recipe, because it also uses the stalks, captures that particular aroma.
Oh,
It uses
okay.
the stalks.
Yeah.
Smart.
Wonderful.
So it's a very light cooking process. So you need to get a couple of kilos of cherry tomatoes on the vine.
Right.
Take off the when I say the stalk, I mean that little flowery bit
Yes.
at the base of the tomato.
But
That's
not
the
the
bit you
twiggy
keep,
bit.
but don't keep the really woody part of the
No.
stem. Just discard of that.
Right.
Fry some garlic in some oil. Add your tomatoes. Cook for 2-3 minutes, just till the liquid starts coming out of the tomato.
Right.
Whiz it all up.
Like in a food processor.
Exactly.
Or with a hand.
Yeah, and
thing.
then through a sieve. I'm sorry, that's
through a sieve.
that's a tedious bit, but
Because you've got to get the seeds out.
Yeah. Whiz it in a sieve and then serve it with a couple of dollops of olive tapenade.
But you've got to warm it up, I guess.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. You warm it, but just be careful not to
Yes.
boil it because then you're starting to lose the impact of the flavour.
Just
So
slow.
I've made some soup.
Yes.
I'm going to go and warm it up very gently now.
Broadcast Amsterdam.
You're right. It's Broadcast Amsterdam. Gilly Carney's promised us tomato soup. She's
Yeah.
disappeared.
Yeah, well, where is she?
It's
Jeez.
all right.
I'm hungry.
It's all right. Right.
I
I
haven't
haven't had
eaten in
breakfast.
30 minutes. What the hell's going on?
30 minutes. I haven't had anything yet. Here she comes. Here she comes.
There she comes.
So we've been talking about tomato soup, everybody.
really?
And because they're just coming to the end of their season, you can get them all year round, but these are the best tomatoes, the ones that are, more naturally
Ooh,
grown.
that smells.
Ooh, tomato soup. Here we
That
come. Let's
smells
get it
something
going.
nice there,
So
Gilly.
this is Gilly's recipe with garlic and olive oil. What
Kathy,
else?
you're
Yes.
first.
So, yeah,
Queen's,
there's...
it's the Queen's Castle.
I've got to warn you, it's a bit punchy with that tapenade in.
Okay.
So I hope you're not getting too close to
Obviously,
anyone.
the tapenade is
It's a
like
bit
an
punchy.
olive.
So am I.
The olive kicking in there, yeah, and the garlic, love. Oh, so lovely, refreshing.
Great.
It's lovely, refreshing. Oh, you're right. The
You just
tomato.
double dipped the chip.
That's it. I did. Sorry, that's my. It's my
We're
saliva.
friends,
My
it's
saliva's
okay.
in the soup. It's garlicky.
Sorry. Yeah, it is quite garlicky.
I could smell that garlic.
That's all right. I love it.
Have a taste, Joe.
Can I try? Yeah,
Yeah, of
absolutely.
course.
Nice.
Ooh.
Yeah, and also, so I made this a couple of days ago, so I think this, what do you do with a guy like Joe? So I'm not sure that that lovely, I was talking about that aroma that you get from tomato plants. I think maybe
Yes.
that's kind of gone away now. But I think when you make this soup fresh, you do definitely get it. And
I think soup gets better in time.
Generally, yeah,
a couple days
yeah,
later or so. This
yeah.
is delicious. It's a really nice.
Yeah, thank you.
Is the word consommé? Have you heard this word
Yeah,
before? It's
consommé.
like a bit of like a broth, not a hearty soda salad.
No, it's
salad.
a lighter style, isn't it?
Because it's
Yeah.
nice to have a soup that's not potato based or anything, but it's also not very stock-based either. It's not too watery. The water is from the tomatoes.
Now you can
Absolutely,
taste it.
yeah.
Really, it's
So it's the
very
best-
strong on the tongue.
Yeah, the best of both worlds. What's about the tomato? Because I think typically here you'll get tomato and basil, and it's in a packet like the supermarket. And I'm not into it. Like I like tomato and basil's flavors; they totally go together, but they're often very acidic.
I think the problem is the basil, as unless it's absolutely fresh, it's already going off.
Yeah.
and that taints the rest of the soup.
I never
I think.
quite like it.
I'm
Never quite
13% Italian, and I know that if you are buying store-bought jars of Italian sauce, then you don't know what you're doing.
No,
Make it yourself.
Yeah,
Make it
I totally
yourself.
agree with that.
Let's do it. We should have a tomato party. We've got all the ideas: tomato fights, tomato soup making sessions.
Oh yeah.
Amsterdam kitchen. Markets and more. There's our markets and more
Yes.
segment.
Now, the most important thing to get across here, really, is because we've been bigging it up, is the Seafood Festival, which we talked about it. We did a whole
Up until
feature on
last
seafood.
week.
But we still didn't know where the venue was, and now finally they've announced it. But
It's so secretive. It's the secret of seafood.
As of last week, it had so many likes on Facebook. Everyone was looking forward
We're
to
all
it. They haven't got a
excited.
venue. The announcement has come. It's got a venue marked Holland, but what's the zinger?
the
Stinger.
zinger is it's not happening till March next year.
2020.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the same weekend, 13th to the 15th of March, so it's easy
Yeah.
to remember.
Yeah.
It was going to be 13th to the 15th of September. Now it's moving ahead to March. I don't know, what's that, 6 months?
6 months, and actually, to my mind, not so much fish season, but
It's totally not. Not really.
anyway,
Is
that's
there a fish season?
Yeah.
well, definitely for shellfish is right now. I guess you're
Really?
about to hit the Haring Festival time.
Well, not so
But
excited about
anyway,
that.
there it is. We just felt we needed to kind of draw a line under the Seafood Festival for now.
Yes.
And
It's happening, but not yet.
yeah.
Amsterdam kitchen. We're coming to the end of the show now. Thanks for joining us, Joe.
Thanks for having me.
It's been a wild ride.
I need to sit in a darkened room now.
John.
Tune in.
Yes.
John. We
And-
said stay out of the studio, John. I want to be in the studio.
No, don't do the voices.
Join-
Joe's got a whole load of characters he wants us to pull out of the bag, but no, it's like, stay out. We're going to, have a...
So come back next week. We've got Alex Catane from the Coffee Vine. More features. I mean, we always run out of time, don't we, Kathy?
Yes. We pack it in for you.
Amsterdam Kitchen. Join us live on Saturday mornings
From 10 till 12.
on Broadcast Amsterdam.
We'll catch up later.
It's all online.